become, and I use the word celebrity very lightly, so don't get scared, but become a celebrity in your own backyard. That means locally, where you are. The good news is your local media needs to have people like you to interview, right? And they need people who are local in the community, and they want people who are local in the community. So it's a friendly environment, and they need content. You know, radio stations need your content, the local newspaper. So those are really simple, quick things to do. And then
hey everyone, I am so excited. Today I am in Dallas at eWomen Network Business Conference, and one of the speakers here is Jill Lublin. Do I say that right?
yes,
it is
perfect.
Lublin. Okay, and Jill, you've spoken on my stage before the Magnificent Women's Conference, so I was really excited to see that you were in the program speaking here as well.
Yes, so fun.
And I did not have it pre-planned, but I wanted, since you were here, I thought, let's do this interview. So thank you for saying yes.
It's my pleasure.
Yes. And you may hear there is a party going on in the background, so you can hear music probably. Like, I'm not sure if it's
we might start dancing.
Yeah, if we dance. So hopefully you can hear us well enough, because we have an important, quick message for you. Jill is amazing at what she does. Jill, tell us about yourself. What is it that you do before I ask you my first question?
Sure, thank you. Well, what I do is I help you as a business person get more publicity and create more visibility. I've written actually 4 books. My latest is called Profit of Kindness, and then I wrote Guerrilla Publicity, the base of what I often will speak about. And my thing is I help people spread their message through publicity crash courses, consulting, and speaking all over the world.
So technically it's public PR,
yes.
Public relations.
Yes.
So how did you get into this? How did you get to be in PR? Because you're an incredible speaker. The things I hear you share from the stage is like, it's like, it seems like common sense, but it's not common sense until you point it out.
Well, it's interesting.
Yeah, and I see that even from the reaction of the people in the audience. So how did you get to be doing what you're doing the way you're doing it?
Well, you know, it's interesting. I actually ran a publicity agency for 7 years. And then it kind of got, for me, a little wearing, managing people, and it wasn't what I loved doing. But at that time, I got, as I like to say, tapped on the shoulder to write a guerrilla publicity book. Jay Conrad Levinson, you may have heard of guerrilla marketing, and so they asked me to write guerrilla publicity because that's what I'm an expert in. Well, that book was born, and frankly, it took my career off, meaning my career took off, and didn't take it off, but you know what I'm saying. My career took off, and then I started speaking all over. I actually closed down the PR agency and opened up more consulting, which I love. It's much more free and flexible. It's better for my clients, a lot less expensive, I might add. And then after the first book's success, my publisher asked me what every author wants to hear, and that is, what's your next book? So successively, I wrote a book on referrals, and then a book on networking, and now a book on kindness. So it just keeps going. And one thing about business, when you're having momentum, you got to keep going, right?
One thing I can see for sure is that, I mean, you're not just preaching it, you're walking your talk, because you've been in pretty much every almost every station, it seems like, in every radio station or every newspaper. So you are leading by example, because sometimes you hear people telling you to do this and do that, but I see you are doing what you're preaching. It's not even preaching, but what you're teaching.
I practice what I preach. Yeah, I like to say it.
Yeah.
And I think that's helpful because I know what works in the marketplace, and frankly, I know what doesn't. I make mistakes too, like we all do, and maybe I send something out too often or not enough, and and guess what? I have to deal with my own fears and my own, oh my God, I'm scared to get publicity, which my clients deal with all the time.
And that's what I wanted to ask you. So you had a publicity agency. What led you to even have that agency? So let's backtrack. I want to know what inspired you to do that. Was that something like you always wanted to do? Just in marketing was one thing that progressed, or was there Is there a story behind that?
There's a story. There's always a
Can
story,
you share
right?
your story?
Yes.
I don't know the story, so I'd love to hear it.
Well, actually, I started in the music business because
Really?
what I didn't share, don't often share, is that I went to 1 year law school, and I hated it, which was very upsetting to me because from the time I think I was 14, yeah, about that, I really wanted to be an attorney. I thought that would be a great way to make a difference in the world and help people, like using the law as a tool. Well, and then I got to law school, not pretty. And for a highly creative mind like mine, it is very constricting. And when I got bronchitis 5 times that year, I thought that was God's way of telling me to get out. Yes. So I dropped out of law school, much to my father's chagrin. He was like, "What are you going to do now?" And I said, "Well, I'm going to be an entrepreneur." And he said, "What is it, and how do you spell it?"
Oh, my son didn't even know what that was.
He didn't know because they had a narrow frame. What is it? And then I think finally when I wrote my first book, he's like, "Oh, okay. I still don't know what you do, but at least you got a book out, you know." So
now it kind of backed up.
Yes,
made you
yes.
It's important. It showed you've done something.
Gave me
solid.
credibility.
Yes. Yes.
But law school was not the right place for me. But what I did do in law school that was really good and started me actually on my path is that I actually worked for a music business attorney. And I thought, well, if I'm going to be in law school, I got to do something creative and interesting. So I started in the music business, which actually started me on my path to publicity because I started working in the music business and I got around highly creative people. I got around very famous musicians and worked. I was very privileged to do some amazing things like serve as a general manager of the Rock and Roll Museum. So I had a blast, and that was great for me because what it did was it laid an interesting foundation for publicity because the music business is all about perception. And I really learned that in the music business. I mean, look at most bands and their costuming and their makeup and, look at Kiss and the popularity of Kiss. That was all a wonderful act. And they did excellent with it, So perception really is everything.
So now you mentioned earlier that you have to deal with some fears around the publicity and going out there. Can you share some of that?
Absolutely. That's why I think I'm effective for my clients is I understand it. Most people have fear around putting themselves out there. That's normal. But what I noticed is taking baby steps really helps. But I remember my first time with my first book, Guerrilla Publicity, when I was at a local bookstore and they had a big poster of me. And I'm like, oh my God, that's my face. That's my face, big.
It's a beautiful face.
Thank you. But it was scary because oh my God, there I am out there, right? And I had to walk through that. And also my own shyness and learning how to have a good message, how to have a script that works. Because, honestly, a lot of it does come to that. I mean, when they put a celebrity in a hotel room for 14, 16 hours because they're doing a movie, that's most people don't realize. They're locked in a hotel room. And, you hear about, they use Vaseline to keep smiling.
Yes.
And to be charming, they got to think of new things to say all the time because, cameras come in, cameras go out, reporters come in, reporters go out. They need to know what to say. So even at that level, but then you bring it to a business person and a regular person, and even more so, you need to know what to say and have a message that works so that your message matters.
And did you work mostly with entrepreneurs, like solopreneurs, or with businesses that have, who are your clients? Are they big corporations, or are they small businesses?
I've worked with big corporations, Philips Company, Barclays Bank, and some particularly banks for a while were bringing me in because, funny enough, big companies don't know their message. It almost might be worse. And there's so much dissemination to a certain extent that it's not centralized. However, I would tell you my sweet spot for clients, and who tends to work with me most, are in probably 5 areas: consultants, coaches, small business owners, authors, and speakers. So that covers a pretty wide range, but the good news is there's a lot of similar issues.
So if someone were to be saying, oh, this is all great and wonderful, but I'm sure this is a very costly, you said this is a very affordable service that, and you have books and there's a lot of information there. If there's one thing that the listeners could be, if there's one tip that you can give, that's something they could do right now, what would it be before even coming to you?
Yeah. First of all, and because I wrote a book, Guerrilla Publicity, I am all about time saving, money saving tips, right?
Mhm.
So one of the things I'm really big on is become, and I use the word celebrity very lightly, so don't get scared, but become a celebrity in your own backyard. That means locally, where you are. The good news is your local media needs to have people like you
Mhm.
to interview, right?
Mhm.
And they need people who are local in the community, and they want people who are local in the community. So it's a friendly environment,
Mhm.
and they need content. You know, radio stations need your content. The local newspaper. So those are really simple, quick things to do. And then blogging, you know, just as simple as starting to put your message out in quick tips through blogs and your social media, using all the avenues, and think of it all as publicity.
Mhm. And if I understand correctly, one of the things that you provide is you actually help entrepreneurs craft their message so that it actually gets noticed from the media, right? So
Absolutely.
you help them go through that process.
Yes.
You don't necessarily do that work for them.
But
Right.
help them go through the process, or if they
Yeah.
work with me individually, absolutely craft their message
Mhm.
individually. Yes. But one of the things I'm really big on, and I have a formula for it in terms of supporting others to really get a message that works.
Mhm.
But using everything you've got is really key. And if I may just tell my story about
Yes.
my newest book, okay, this
Yes,
is interesting
yes.
because it demonstrates it.
Mhm.
So I like to, I call it Use Everything You've Got.
Mhm.
And my newest book is called Profit of Kindness. That's PROFIT, Profit of Kindness. And it's about using kindness in business. Now, this is a slight departure for me because most of my books are business books. And all of a sudden, I'm writing a book on kindness. And it was at the time of the U.S. election, and a lot of upset and, you know, rigor and, frankly, a lot of anger. And so I sent out a press release about the divided states of America. Now, I'm not a political expert, nor do I play one on TV. And I'm careful about not getting political because that's dangerous territory if you're not a politician or wanting to be. But I do think that that story is what got me on, so far and counting, 7 Fox TV interviews, 45 radio interviews, Forbes magazine, Inc. magazine, CEO magazine, Selling Power magazine, all very different, I might add. Lots of business journals. So I think that's really interesting.
Because of the catchy title that was so on point with what was going on.
With what's current.
The event.
Yeah. So watch what's current,
Mhm.
pay attention to what's in the news, and of course, that was all over the news, you know, and it continues to be. So I'm about to go out with the second round thinking, all right, we need more kindness once again. Let's go, you know?
Yes. Oh, that's amazing. That one headline got you so much
Absolutely. And so
courage.
here's what's true is once you're in media, you can control the message.
Mhm.
And so even though it was a slightly political headline,
Mhm.
I remember I think
There was nothing political about your book.
not really,
No.
nothing actually.
Mhm.
It's about business. It's about being kind in the world. And what was great is I'd go into a TV station and the person interviewing me would say, do you want to talk about kindness in business? Do you want to talk about kindness in politics? Do you want to talk about kindness in the world?
Mhm.
And, you know, I would always choose door number 3, in this case, kindness in the world.
Mhm.
And keep the message simple.
Nice. Very nice. Awesome. Fantastic.
Yeah, it's fun.
Anything else you'd like to share?
I just want to share that I'm really committed to entrepreneurs and small business owners getting their message out, and to know that no matter what you do, your message matters.
I have one last question for you.
Yes.
One last question.
Okay.
What gets you going in the morning?
Woo.
Are you a morning person?
I'm not a total morning person, no.
Neither am I.
Oh, good.
Like, yes.
You know, like if I get up at 8, that feels good.
Okay.
All right. But I find it funny enough when I do get up early. I do love it once I get going.
Mm-hmm.
What gets me up is that I love my work.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm integrated a lot, meaning I love what I do. It's part of who I am.
Mm-hmm.
It's really who I am. It's natural for me. And it is my skill set, right? So I love it. It's not like, oh, I have to go to work. I mean, some days are a little tougher, like when I fly across the country and I have to do a 7 in the morning, speech, and it's 4 in the morning in California or whatever. That's a little harder.
Yeah.
But I just get up and I know that the energy just starts pouring through.
But do you have like a set routine that you do every morning, or is every morning is different?
Typically, I meditate in the morning.
Mhm.
I try to wake up somewhat peacefully.
Mm-hmm.
I like my tea in the morning. I'm a tea drinker,
Nice.
not a coffee drinker, but a tea drinker. I hang out with my cats. I have 4 of them.
Wow.
Yes. So that's fun. And I, funny enough, don't like starting my calls before 9:30.
Mm-hmm. You like quiet.
Yeah, a little exercise. I like to sit out on my deck. I have a beautiful deck, and nature is very important to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to like ease into my day. Now this doesn't always work, but I would tell you I prefer to ease into my day and start officially more in the 9:30 range. But I notice this is really interesting. I'm doing a lot of international work and with a lot of folks all over the world. So, they're in England. 8 a.m. my time is probably good for them.
Mm-hmm.
And so all of a sudden my calls are creeping up to 8 in the morning.
Oh, they're getting earlier and earlier.
Like, okay, it is what it is. And I don't do that every day. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, when I'm working with overseas folks, obviously we have to take time zones into account.
Of course, of course. Well, thank you so much. So where can the listeners in our audience find your books and find you if they want to know more about what you like, getting in touch with you and what you do?
Thank you.
Yeah.
So go to, for my latest book, profitofkindness.com. So go check that out. And then for anything around working with me, go to jilllublin.com. And should we spell it for them?
Yes.
All right. It's Jill, and then another L, JILLLUB as in boy, LIN as in Nancy, JillLublin.com. Free gifts there, ways to get a hold of me or call me, which is 415-883-5455. Any way I can help you, let me know.
That is awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Give me a hug. Bye.